timely thing of the Zoom call and the pandemic and all that, with something that felt super classical, like a seance. And I think that's the balance we were trying to hit with it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that kind of reels you in at the beginning of the movie, is all these characters could be your friends, they could be your mates, they're all relatable kind of characters, and you start kind of settle in as if you're on the Zoom call, and then the kind of that wall's broken, you're not in a cinema anymore, or you're not watching it on your TV, you're kind of, you're part of the call, which works amazingly.
Yeah. And then if you're watching it alone in lockdown and the movie ends at the end, you're hit with that same feeling of, oh shit, I'm on my own now. Yeah. So that's good. If we can make people feel even more terrified during this time, then I've done my job.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of nights afterwards where you're kind of rattling around the house by yourself, or it's that bit when you go up to bed and it's like you turn all the lights off in the house and you've got that kind of walk through the pitch black. And but for days afterwards, I was on edge.
I love it.
I mean, I think what amplifies that a little bit more as well is actually during the beginning bits, before they know all the crazy stuff that's going to happen, you can really see that the real friendship between them and the banter back and forth, especially like when it's like, take a drink every time she says this. I thought that was so funny. And I think what that does, it makes you like not only feel that you're part of the Zoom call, it's like, oh, I've known these people for years. I've known Hayley for ages, known Emma for ages. And then when you see all this dreadful stuff happen to them, it's like, oh, nah, I don't want to be part of it anymore.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think humor is such a good tool to, I really love how funny this movie is. And, and also just they're funny people. They're hilarious. They're just my mates. And not having it be like movie funny where a character cracks a joke that was never funny and the actors all have to laugh. Like they're genuinely like having fun, making each other laugh, and making the audience laugh. And we tried to make it, we wanted the audience to kind of engage on that level and have fun with it, and for there to be some kind of punchline moments, so that when they stop laughing and the tone changes, you really feel it and you get that kind of icy feeling in your stomach. I think you can really use humor as a tool to turn the screws on an audience.
Yeah, and did this, because obviously due to all this stuff that's been mentioned, it's quite realistic, and as I previously said, it was filmed in your own location. Especially that scene when you have to pretend to be Emma with the bunny slippers running around the house. Well, since it was filmed at your own locations, when all the cameras were gone, when you stopped filming, did that sort of like frightening, haunting vibe like sort of follow you? Because I was sat there watching, being like, I don't want to be like, if I was Hayley, I wouldn't want to stay in that flat anymore. Dark. Did that ever sort of happen to you? Did you ever get a sense of anything?
I mean, I'm quite kind of skeptical about all that stuff. I mean, I think that's why I think if I was a believer, I wouldn't be able to make horror movies because I'd be too scared. But I think for some of the cast it did. I mean, I think Emma had a pretty hard time, I think, getting to sleep for weeks afterwards, because that's her bedroom. She's lying in bed, she's looking right towards that doorway where the invisible figure stands in the movie, and I think she genuinely had quite a lot of lasting trauma from watching the movie. She's moved house now, so she's doing a lot better. But I felt a little sorry for her when she was telling me about that.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
So what does scare you then? Because you obviously had a lot of time to watch horror movies over lockdown. I think we all have. Yeah. What's a scary horror movie for you then? What kind of, or do you not get scared, or what are the big jumps?
I do, but it's I mean, the supernatural does scare me more than anything else. Just if I wake up at 3 a.m., that's the thing that I'll be imagining in the dark corner of my room. But I don't. It's an irrational thing. I don't kind of buy into it. I don't know, like, well, for instance, like, so we, as part of the kind of research for this, or part of the rehearsal process, we actually did a real seance with the cast and crew. We got a medium who's a friend of mine to come on the call and do a seance. And I was really just doing it to watch how the actors would respond. But I was there alone with a candle in my flat. And part of what you have to do on a Zoom seance is you have to call out and you have to say, spirits, I'm making this a place welcoming for you, give me a sign if you're here. I did that, and my cupboard immediately like slammed, and in that moment I went from a non-believer to absolutely believing in it. for just about 5 seconds, and then I rationalized it, and I was fine. But but I have these moments of absolute belief where I'm terrified, and then I managed to kind of do away with it. But yeah, they're always the movies that fuck me up. It's always the Paranormal Activities or the Blair Witches.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think they're the ones that seem to kind of pack the punch nowadays, because it's like a universal fear, isn't it? It's kind of the fear of the unknown, and kind of what's in your own home as well. What could kind of get you in your own home? It's not going to be a monster, is it? It's there's still that kind of belief in ghosts in kind of common culture, I guess.
Totally. It's all about finding those spaces where you feel protected, and then making you afraid of those. It's why The Exorcist is so terrifying, and it's why Nightmare on Elm Street is so ingenious, because it takes these places of safety and then totally kind of pollutes them.
Up. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting as well, like when you were saying about kind of coming out of lockdown now and kind of reintroducing into the new world. I think a lot of people are kind of agoraphobic and are very kind of clinging to their technology as they wander out into the real world now. Yeah,
which is an interesting thing, because horror normally likes enclosed spaces. So that's kind of that's the challenge of this new movie. It's a kind of agoraphobic horror movie, which maybe it might not work, but it's an interesting challenge.
Yeah, I think it's sorry, go on.
Quite different. Oh, sorry. So you mentioned about the horror films that sort of like scared you, like the irrational and rational. Yeah. Is there any sort of influences we can be expecting with the new films based on like some of your favorite horror films? Like, have you told the cast to watch anything? Have you yourself watched anything in prep for it that we can see the similarities in?
So we're using Wreck is a big reference, the original Wreck, and then there's 2 Ty West movies that we're using. The Innkeepers and House of the Devil are really big references for this one, and that gives you a little bit of a clue to the kind of supernatural we're tackling. But the Innkeepers has a sense of fun and banter the Innkeepers was a big reference for Host as well. Just the characterization, and again how Ty West uses humor and then stops you laughing at that midway point and really makes you feel that turn. And then House of the Devil, I don't want to spoil it, but we're taking structurally there's a lot of House of the Devil in this new movie.
That sounds awesome. So what's your time frame like now? When do you guys start going into film, and is there like a date booked yet?
There's not an exact date book, but I think we'll be starting shooting next month, so it'll be shot before the year's out, and then out probably top of next year. So we're trying to keep churning them out fast. Yeah.
And what are there kind of going to be some kind of crazy COVID restraints at the moment? Obviously, our actors having to be tested for COVID on a daily basis on set and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
there's all that kind of stuff. We're doing testing and bubbling and all this kind of thing. I don't know. It's a new experience for all of us, but like Host, we're trying to keep it as low key as possible. And we'll figure it out as we go. But we've got, Douglas Cox, who produced Host, is producing this next one, and he's got a very kind of in-depth plan, and we've got to follow all these precautions. But I don't think it's gonna. We're trying to make it in such a stripped back way that hopefully it's not going to impede us too much.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be one of those kind of ongoing challenges, at least for the next kind of 12 months, that everyone's kind of going to have to get used to. We were speaking to Joe, who's working on the latest Creep show for Shudder, and he was saying how in the States it's kind of basically it's delayed. The production is kind of 20 to 30% longer because you've got to do a bit of testing and a bit of safety risk assessment, but it's not really kind of stopping anyone from making movies, which is great.
Yeah, no, there's always ways around it. I don't like sitting still really for too long. I always like to try and find something to make. So I don't know, even if we go into a second lockdown, I'll figure out something to make.
Brilliant. All right, well, we don't want to take up too much of your time. I think we've just gone past the half an hour mark, but thanks for speaking to us. This is going to go out just before we show Host on Halloween.
Oh, great.
So
I can't wait. Thanks so much for showing it. really
Yeah,
excited.
no, of course. Yeah, we can't wait to see it on the big screen. I don't know if you want to do a quick intro just to kind of round off the interview, just to kind of introduce the audience to host.
Oh God.
No pressure.
Fucking hell. Hey everyone, I'm Rob Savage, the director of Host. Thank you so much for coming out and watching this on the big screen. We made this movie in 12 weeks during the height of lockdown, and it's amazing and kind of mind blowing that you're all watching this in a cinema right now. So please enjoy, and if you liked it, spread the word. Thanks.
Amazing. Cheers, Rob.
Great.
Cheers,
No worries.
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Cheers. No worries. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
Take care. See ya. Bye.
See ya.